Hey everyone, I just wanted to talk about something really quick. It just kind of dawned on me that I should probably talk about this. Koshka down. No, down. Me and Koshka actually had a breakthrough recently, like yesterday. I was working on impulse control work with him, and the way that I was doing that is I would run with him, and then I would get him to do the whoa command. And the whoa command is essentially just stand and don't move. So basically, what I was teaching Koshka to do was put the brakes on. So if I were to say whoa, like if you were running out into traffic, right, and he's excited, then I could say whoa, and he would stop, right? Now it's not perfect, right? He grasps it though. That's the important thing is he grasps the command, and that's one thing that kind of leads into what I wanted to talk about is that with dog training, it is never overnight, and even if it seems like the dog gets the command initially really well, it still takes like a couple, like many repetitions of doing it for them to really solidify it into their vocabulary, right? So if I were to say sit to Koshka, he knows what sit is really well. That's the first command I ever taught him. And it's sort of like just ingrained like deep into his like muscle memory and his instincts. It's his instinct is whenever I say sit is for him to sit. Right. And but the thing is when a dog is excited and you say something like that, then their brain is like fixated on whatever they're excited about. So it's essentially like the way that you work on that and the way that you get a dog to listen to you, even if they're really, really excited, is by doing yard work with them, doing impulse control work with them, like what I was just doing with Koshka. And it just kind of dawned on me that I wanted to talk about this real quick, is just that it is going to take hundreds, I'm telling you, like it's going to take a lot of practice. Like you have to go out into the yard and you have to put a leash on your dog and you have to train them. You know what I mean? You have to do it like over and over and over and over and over and over again. It's really not as simple. Your dog is rarely going to really learn and grasp a command in like one day. And even if they did learn the command like itself, so if you taught sit to your dog in a day, then that doesn't mean that in any situation they're going to sit really well. You know what I mean? The way that you might escalate like the levels of excitement for your dog in training is you start by maybe teaching them in a living room where there's just you in there and nothing really exciting is in there. It's just you and the dog, right? You teach sit, and then once they're doing it super good in the living room, which they probably will pick up on very quickly because there's nothing exciting in the living room, then maybe you take them out to the backyard, right? And then that'll be a little bit more exciting. Maybe there's leaves blowing around or birds or, cars or something in the background or whatever, you know what I mean? These are all things that can excite your dog. These are all things that can distract your dog, right? So when your dog is distracted like that, you have to basically you need to train them in the environment where they're going to be distractible, and when they get distracted, you want to correct them and you want to reconfirm them being in that position. You want to basically tell them that no matter what's going on, I want you to do this command, right? So for Koshka, right, in terms of impulse control, is when I'm running with him and getting him to do the whoa command, I'm just raising his excitement level. I'm getting him, because running is positive reinforcement for a dog, right? And so when he's running, he's getting excited. He's getting worked up. You know what I mean? But then when I tell him whoa, right, and he stops, it's essentially I'm basically teaching him that even if he is getting excited, he still has to be compliant, right? And that's the thing is, of course, your dog is gonna get excited. There's really nothing that you can't keep the dog super calm all the time, and dude, like we need to get released sometimes. Like if you sit inside the house all the time, then you're gonna go fucking crazy, right? And the thing is like with your dog, it's kind of the same thing. If they're sitting in the house all the time, they're gonna go a little nutty. And the thing is like you'll see this. I mean, like I saw this with my roommate's dog a while back. I know I talk about this a lot, but it's an example that I can think of is where she just would never get taken out. She would never get walked. She would never get played with outside, really. Maybe occasionally she'd get played with outside, but but what happens is when that back door opens and she's been sitting inside all day just lazing around, then you bet your sweet ass that's where she lets out all of that tension. It all comes out at once. You know what I mean? And that's the thing is that like with Koshka, what happens is I actually made a mistake earlier today where I should have done some retrieves with him, but I ended up not doing retrieves with him. And what ended up happening was when we were about to head inside, he knew we were going to head inside. He decided that he was going to run around for a while. You know what I mean? It wasn't like it wasn't dangerous. It was the right setting for him to run around and stuff. But the thing is that he needed to release that tension. You know what I mean? He had been in the kennel all night and he was ready to go. And I just kind of neglected that we would need to do some retrieves. And the thing about retrieves is retrieves are a really healthy way for your dog to get exercise while still being compliant to you. They get to run, they get to bite the object, they get to bring it back to you, and they get praise. You know, it's just like it's 100% positivity with a retrieve. You know what I mean? And that's why I think that every dog should really learn how to retrieve properly. When I say retrieve, I don't mean you throw a stick and your dog goes and gets it and then drops it by your feet. I mean, like, you teach your dog to heel and then sit, and then you teach them to hold an object in their mouth properly, right? And not drop it. And then when that happens, then you can send your dog out. Once you've, like, you know, set up distance work with your dog, you can send your dog out to go retrieve the object and then bring it back to heel and hold it in their mouth for you to take it out of their mouth. And that's what happens with Koshka. He can do that. He can do perfect retrieves pretty well. So it's essentially just it's all positive for the dog. You send the object out for your dog, and then they have to wait, right? They have to wait to go for it. They don't just go for it, right? Because that's teaching your dog that when they see like an object that excites them, to just go for it, right? And that's not what you want. That's not safe. You know what I mean? If they saw a dog on the street, or if there was a car going by, sometimes cars can excite dogs, you know, or maybe they saw anything, a leaf blowing on the ground or whatever, you know, they might just go for it. You know what I mean? And that's not what you want. You don't want them to go for stuff. You want them to learn impulse control, right? Because they're going to get that impulse to just go for something, especially if they're like a high drive, excitable dog like Koshka is. Koshka is a very high drive, excitable dog, right? And he, I know you guys see him in the kennel all the time. One of these times it's kind of hard for me to record with my phone when I go out for a training session with him because I have to hold the phone in my hand. But I have a camera in here that I want to be able to set up and put out there, which I could do at some point, but it's kind of a hassle. I have to set up the tripod and the camera and stuff like that. But at some point I will do that for sure. I'll probably do that when I set up the agility course for Koshka out back. I'm very excited. I'm going to set up weave poles. I'm going to set up a seesaw. I'm going to set up probably like different jump bars for him and stuff like that. And he'll be doing some agility work, which is really good. He's actually kind of already sort of in the realm of knowing weave poles, but I need to obviously do more work with him on that. He needs to get more muscle memory at it because he should really be flying through the weave poles with his energy level and his drive. He should be doing it really quickly, but right now he kind of meanders, and I tell him weave here, you know, and he doesn't really like. He's not that into it, but he will get into it. You know, that's the thing is a lot of the times, you know, you teach the dog what to like. You really do. Your dog will either you'll teach the dog or the dog will teach itself. That's kind of what happened. Either you train the dog or the dog will train itself. And the thing is that you do teach the dog what to like. And Koshka may not really be that into weave poles right now, but you bet your sweet ass that in a couple months or in a month or whatever, he will be very into the weave poles. He's really into retrieving. And it took me 23 days to get him to fucking hold the object in his mouth. You know what I mean? So that's the thing is that like your dog is going to give you resistance and they're going to act like they fucking hate whatever they're doing. Just don't get sucked in. Don't fall for their game. You teach them what to like and they will end up loving what you teach them. That's the thing. They will love it. They'll love doing this stuff. And it's a healthy, safe way for them to let out their natural instincts to do that stuff. Just remember, like, dogs aren't people. They're dogs, and they need to be able to function in a human world. This is it's a human society. We have certain rules, we have certain boundaries and stuff. If dogs were in the wild, there would be no problems. But unfortunately, they live in a human society. So we have to teach them manners and stuff, and we also have to teach them healthy, safe ways that they can exercise their natural urges, right? Because they have different, they have a different way of doing things than us. Essentially, they have different drives, different whatever. I mean, like if you see a squirrel, your first instinct isn't to go fucking kill it. You know what I mean? But with a dog, it is. But the thing is that's dangerous for a dog to go just chase squirrels around all the time. You know what I mean? To have that instinct, it's just like your dog could get in trouble or could get hurt or whatever. You know what I mean? And the thing is also that's kind of festering aggression in your dog too. But I'm not going to get too into that. I kind of wanted to keep this a little short if I could help it. But that's the thing. Basically, the message of this video is when your dog shows you resistance initially, or if they act like they're not getting it, or if they seem like they aren't getting it, the thing is that with every command that you teach your dog, for them to fully really grasp it, it's going to take hundreds, if not thousands of repetitions of you going over the command over and over and over and over and over and over again, right? If you're not into that, if you're not into telling your dog to sit thousands of times, then maybe don't get a dog, honestly. Like, that's the thing, is you have to work with your dog, and you have to get your dog to, you have to keep up on this stuff too. Training is the lifetime of the dog. It's forever. It's until the dog is dead, right? So that's the thing, or maybe until the dog is really old and not really like functional. But, that's the thing, is that, you absolutely need to work with your dog all the time. Especially if you have a high drive dog like I do. I have Koshka. He's a nut. He's ready to go all the time. And like, from the second he wakes up in the morning to the second that he goes to sleep at night, he is ready to go and do something. He needs a job. He absolutely needs a job, right? And that's the thing, is not all dogs, all dogs should have a job. All dogs should do retrieving and stuff like that. He's scratching in the crate, if you can hear that. But basically, you need to work with your dog a lot, right? And in order for them to really grasp a concept, it's going to take a lot of repetition. It's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take a lot of effort on your part to really get the dog to grasp it. And if you have a dominant, high drive, energetic, just crazy dog, you know what I mean? It's going to take more time. It's going to take more effort on your part, because your dog is smart. Your dog is a smart, my dog is like a problem solver, you know what I mean? Like, he will do everything he can do to not listen to me, because he's a dominant animal, and he's trying to like figure out exactly what he can get away with. Where is the line exactly? You know what I mean? It's like one of those things. He'll test the water. If he was trapped in a room, he would exhaust every option he can think of, you know what I mean, to try to escape it. And that's the thing, is that, like, your dog, if you have a really dominant type of dog, a bratty dog or whatever, they will try everything, and they'll try to frustrate the fuck out of you. They will. So, with Koshka, it's like, I have to keep up on him all the time. I have to make sure that I'm training him constantly. You know what I mean? And the thing is that he's a big responsibility and a lot of effort, right? And your dog is also probably like that. And you probably have behavioral problems with your dog if you don't work with your dog regularly, right? You should at least be taking your dog out for like 5 minutes for training, right? At least just drill up, just easy shit, like easy drills on whatever. Just get your dog to sit. Put your dog at sit and make him sit in one spot for like 5 minutes a day. Seriously, just if you do that every day, then over time, like over a long period of time, then your dog is going to get really, really good at sitting in one spot and not moving. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. But like with me, like I'm a dog trainer. So it's essentially like, for me, I'm okay with my dog messing up 100 times until he gets it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is that like with him doing whoa, you know what I mean? He's always had problems with the whoa command. Ever since I got him, he never liked standing up and not moving. Right? I'd have to put my foot under his butt, that didn't even work. I'd put my foot under his butt and he just wouldn't do it. He knew what I wanted him to do, but he just wouldn't do it. So that's the thing, is that like I would say whoa and I'd put my foot under his butt and he just wouldn't do it. But eventually, through trial and error of trying to get him to do it, I tried steps, I tried putting him on stairs, I tried my foot under his butt, everything. I tried to put my hand under his butt, everything, and like really putting him in the position, you know what I mean? And he knew what I wanted him to do, but because he's a dominant animal, he's just like, meh, whatever, you know what I mean? And the thing that finally got him to do it was I would have to pull him forward. I'd have to take the leash and I'd have to pull him forward, kind of like this, like make him stand up, walking forward. And the thing is because of the muscle memory of that action, now what I've actually had to work out of him is him walking forward too much. I'm okay with him taking a step forward when he does whoa, right? But the thing is what he would do is he would kind of take a liberty there, and then he would just take a couple steps forward, and then a couple steps led to a couple more steps, right? And that's the thing, is I had to teach him, no, dog, it's whoa, stay there, stand, and don't move. Don't walk forward a bunch. Don't drift around. It's whoa. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, is it may take hundreds, if not thousands, of repetitions of a command that you're trying to teach your dog before they get it. And if you have a really dominant type of dog like I do, then it can be very frustrating. It can. So that's the thing, is I just think everybody should be prepared for that to be the case. And they should treat their dog as if that's the case. But hey, some people have more submissive types of dogs, and maybe when you teach your dog to sit, they just sit there. And they just don't, they're like, okay, I guess I'll just sit here. And that's just because you have a more submissive type of dog. You know what I mean? But the thing is a lot of times, you know, those submissive types of dogs, they can't work all day. They don't want to work all day. They're lazy. And, you know, when you throw the ball for them after a couple times, they're like, oh, well, okay, well, that was fun, but I'm not really into this anymore, you know, and they just kind of like whatever. Whereas like with him, he'll retrieve all day. He will retrieve all day. Right. And because I love working with dogs, it's a great dog for me to have. But, you know, for everybody, I mean, you should really be sure of the personality type of the dog you want to get, right? And be ready for the responsibility of it, because for certain types of dogs, you're going to have to fucking go out into the yard with them, and you're going to have to drill them hundreds or thousands of times. And if you're not ready to do that, then don't get a really high drive, super energetic dog. All right. So that's all I really had to say on the matter. I just wanted to let everybody know that it's going to take a lot of repetition. But I'm Desmond Snow. I'm a dog trainer. I'm in Seattle, Washington right now. My contact information is 360-991-4392. You can call me or text me. I prefer text. It's a lot easier for me to respond to texts. But you can also email me at desmondsnow@gmail.com. And I can train your dog to do all of the basic obedience commands or whatever. And I can also help you with any behavioral issues with your dog. If your dog is jumping on you, or if your dog gets in the trash, or your dog does whatever, if your dog isn't potty trained, whatever, he's whining because he's ready to work again. I just took him out 10 minutes ago. He's ready to work again. Whatever behavioral issues you have with your dog, I can help. I can work with that. If your dog pulls on a leash or anything like that, I can help with that. So yeah, and if anybody has any questions, feel free to leave in the comments below, and I will get back to you on all that stuff. I'm Desmond Snow. I'm a dog trainer. I don't know. I love dogs. I can talk about dogs all day, and I do talk about dogs all day. I'm pretty sure I drive people crazy. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. Train your dogs. Get your dogs out there. Get them working. Come on. They love it. They love to work. They seriously do. They love that shit. So, you know, I mean, like, look at you. You work, don't you? You have a job. You do something, I imagine. If anything, then you sit on YouTube and watch dog training videos. If anything, that's what you do. I don't know. If that's what you do, then maybe don't get a high drive dog, because, you know, you're not going to be able to spend all your time on YouTube. That's for sure. Definitely not. But yeah, I hope you guys have a good day. I am going to go work him again, even though I just worked him 10 minutes ago. But I love him, and I love doing it. So there you go. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.